Let's talk about the game at hand, Manchester City taking on Everton. And firstly, we've got a comment here from Zayed M. Roslan, who says, a proper manager at last for Everton, one that knows how to set a team up and get the best out of them through hard graft and working together as a unit. But I think it'll be a tough match today. Can't wait to see who he brings in over the next few weeks, or will he make do with his current squad? So firstly, I can't quite fathom the fact that Carlo Ancelotti is in charge of Everton. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's you know, times have changed. The time was when the Everton job and the Arsenal job were both up. You know, there wasn't a contest.
Yeah.
It was always Arsenal. But I don't know. They've obviously thrown an enormous amount of money at him to go there. I don't know what promises they've made, but you'd have to assume it's going to be to buy a lot of players because I think they're going to need it. They're certainly going to need it if they're going to compete with the big boys in the Premier League. But I'm really interested to see how it's panned out. He's made a great start.
And I think the start he's made, what I've really enjoyed about seeing him, when Duncan Ferguson was there, he went to his 4-4-2 system, and Ancelotti hasn't come in and changed it. He knew they'd had a little bit of success with that. When Ferguson had taken charge on the sidelines, and he's just come and embraced it and let them get on with it and tweak a few things up. And on the sideline, it's also been, you'll see him here, trying to get his organisation in his shape, but I still feel Ferguson is having a huge say behind him as well, whereas he didn't have that luxury under Silva. So I think the chemistry and the dynamics that they've shown in their first few matches in charge has been sensational.
Yeah, doesn't quite sound right, does it? Ancelotti, head coach of Everton. Sorry, is that wrong? You know, somebody pronounced that incorrectly or something. Now he's there. I would back him to do a good job. You know, it's a different challenge for him. Invariably, he's always been at huge clubs, and no disrespect to Everton and Everton fans, they're not a huge club. They haven't been a huge club since, what, I don't know, maybe the mid-'80s, when they were really successful.
Well, it probably really harks back to a period in the 90s when he first started at Parma. Parma would have some success, obviously, but the likes of Cannavaro and Buffon were all there to turn around. They had a fantastic team. And one of the men in charge during that period was Carlo Ancelotti. But they're not the Juventus or one of the Milan teams.
No, and they lost a lot of those players. Obviously, they just couldn't deal with it financially. There were a lot bigger boys in Serie A at the time. But, you don't get to manage the clubs that he's managed by accident and win. I saw a list that somebody sent me the other day of the teams he's managed and the trophies that he's won. And then now it's obviously the present day with Everton. And Everton just leaps off the page. It just doesn't belong there. And that's why I think, this is going to be his biggest challenge. It really is. I don't think that he's here just to make up the numbers. He's going to want to try and do something. And if he's going to do it, they're going to need to throw bucket loads of money at it.
But Everton have thrown bucket loads of money, haven't they, since Mushiri took over?
Yeah, they have.
As the owner
they
of
know
the
it's
club.
there. Yeah. They just. I think they've actually gone, do you know what? If we're going to go down this route, we actually need someone who's proven with that money.
Which is the biggest surprise appointment in terms of managerial pedigree? Mourinho at Tottenham, obviously, and another former Chelsea manager now at Everton in the form of Carlo Ancelotti. Which one pops out more? I never saw that coming.
Mourinho, I just had an inkling for about 6 months. I remember when I first started to tell people that Mourinho will end up at Tottenham, that it was just being laughed at.
You were saying this before?
Yeah, I was saying it pretty much everywhere for about 6 months. There was something when he decided to stay in the country and he signed some TV deals and he started to work on Sky, and I was just thinking, he's after a job. Which job could it be? Well, it must be the Spurs job, because Pochettino's reign seemed to be coming to a natural end anyway. And I just thought, don't be surprised if Mourinho turns up there, and he is. And at the minute, it isn't going very well for me. And as a Spurs fan, it's quite upsetting to see.
Who's going to get success first, do you feel? Who will get their hands on a trophy? It's been a very long wait for both sides, even longer for Everton.
Oh, I hope it's Tottenham.
You've shown your allegiance to which side you're
Yeah, well, I
supporting?
do, but I just feel that what he's been doing recently, the last few matches that I've seen from Mourinho, is going back to that we talked about, will he keep the spirit or will he turn into the Grinch? Things are just starting to turn. It's a good test for him. But I feel that he can bring some silverware to Tottenham Hotspur. I do believe that.
So Mourinho for you, Gaz?
I think Spurs are probably better placed to win a trophy before Everton. Mourinho's a serial winner. Ancelotti's a serial winner. But I just think that Everton at the moment sit a little bit more disorganised than Spurs. Not much, but a little bit.
All right. Spurs as well? Kids?
I think Spurs, but I do think as well it depends what competition you want to go for. I think if Ancelotti wants to say, actually it'll be easier for me if I go after one of the domestic cups, rather than trying to make a full tilt for the Champions League. That's one thing, and they could go all the way. Mourinho's got one job as far as I'm concerned, and that is to get Spurs in the Championship every season he's there and to try and win.
Well, if he wants to get domestic cup this season, they got the FA Cup encounter on the weekend against Liverpool, a Merseyside derby away. It's a huge ask.